This is all a bridge to nowhere. I mean, all these people voting no, voting present. To what end?
Radical, Democrat, political activists abuse the criminal justice system in New York, all to create a political talking point. Look.
Okay, so it's 2025 and we already have some good meltdown moments for you guys. Now, as a Republican myself, and I think a lot of you can agree, it's been quite a roller coaster already and a little dramatic, especially with the Republican House of Representatives almost falling apart before Donald Trump even enters office. And speaking of Donald Trump entering office, he was ordered to appear before a judge for sentencing. We will get to all of that in this video, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I just am reminded of the state motto of my home Commonwealth of Kentucky. United we stand, divided we fall. That ought to be what Republicans are thinking about today. The chamber is very closely divided. They don't have any margin for error on this or anything moving forward. And to me, the spirit of teamwork and unity ought to flow out of this today because they're going to need it when they try to enact Donald Trump's agenda.
Now, I know a lot of you are laughing because if you were following the Mike Johnson vote, I don't think a lot of us got that vibe of unity for the Republican Party. Now, the numbers do show that Mike Johnson got every single vote for Republicans except for one. That one representative, we knew he wasn't going to vote for Mike Johnson. But the issue was a lot of Republicans were filibustering. They were waiting till the last second. They were leaving everyone in suspense. But to me, that left a very bad look for Republicans because it doesn't necessarily show, let's just all support Donald Trump, let's do this together, let's put drama aside, let's work together. That is not the vibe I don't think anyone really got, and it left a lot of people frustrated, and Scott Jennings even makes a comment on this.
You know what strikes me about all this machination? This is all a bridge to nowhere. I mean, all these people voting no, voting present. To what end is the Republican Party doing this? And I think this is probably what Donald Trump's frustration is and why he's putting so much time and effort into getting Johnson elected here. There's no alternative. You know, these no votes, present vote, there's no alternative. Johnson's the only one who can do this today. And the sooner he does it, the better off Trump will be and the better off the Republican Party will be. The Republican voters of this country elected Trump and these people to do things, not fight amongst themselves. They want to fight somebody, there's a whole bunch of Democrats in there they can fight with. So I hope that message is being delivered. I know people have policy preferences and are upset about this, that, and the other, but you can't fix any of it until you get leadership elected, and that's why I hope this happens on the first ballot today.
Now look, again, at the end of the day, Republicans did end up voting pretty unanimously for Mike Johnson, but it still left a pretty sour taste for a lot of conservatives. But there is one clip that actually stood out from the rest. It's when J.D. Vance decided to start laughing when Kamala Harris was swearing in new members of government. I will let you be the judge on whether or not J.D. Vance was laughing at Kamala Harris. I have no way to verify it, but I might as well show you this clip because it was going mega viral all over the internet.
Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which you are about to enter, so help you God?
I do.
All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the real drama that's going on for 2025. This is the judge right here, Judge Juan Merchan, who has requested or really ordered that Donald Trump does appear before the court for sentencing. However, he did say Donald Trump can appear via a Skype or Zoom call, but Scott Jennings just lights this guy up and lights up the Democratic Party, really.
In fact, many believe the tide changed when it was even filed as a criminal charge against him. People started to lean in more. But now that he's won, does the next set of events even matter in terms of what the judge will do?
Well, look, I think it matters because it's another reminder that radical Democrat political activists abuse the criminal justice system in New York, all to create a political talking point. Look,
Now, super quick, I want to give you guys the direct statement from Congress.gov. Because criminal charges have never been filed against a sitting president, the Supreme Court has never considered a case addressing whether a sitting president could be prosecuted. The executive branch has expressed the view sitting presidents enjoy absolute immunity from criminal prosecution. But the reason why this is being called a political initiative trying to make Donald Trump look ridiculous is because, yes, technically he has been elected the president. He's not technically going to be the president when he sits before this judge. That is why a lot of people are super upset about all of this.
Ellie is exactly right, our legal analyst here. This would have never been charged this way if it weren't Donald Trump and he weren't running for president. Should have never been charged this way. He should have never faced this. It was all done so they could call him a convicted felon during the campaign, which of course they succeeded at. What they miscalculated is that the American people knew from the get-go that it was partisan politics, and they soundly rejected this in November. So Trump's, I guess, going to get one more bite at the apple here to make the point that these Democrats in New York elected, Alvin Bragg elected, Marchand elected, these people are elected by the people, and they took their jobs in public service and used them for political ends instead of using all of their time to throw the bad people in New York, which there are plenty of them on the streets, in jail. That's the real lasting impact of this, the abuse of the system for political purposes when New York City is descending into a hellhole right now.
I just want to make this comment real quick. If CNN is even agreeing that this court case is politically motivated, it probably means something. And I love Scott Jennings. I know a lot of you do as well. I know he's the conservative for CNN, but he is just amplifying what the majority of Americans are saying, to include a lot of Democrats who are pointing to this and saying this is not a good look right now. But Scott Jennings went on another news segment and also called out how ridiculous this all is.
To be no actual punishment for it. So should Trump do anything about it?
Well, I mean, I guess he could show up and continue to show what this case was all about in the first place. And that is, it was for a political talking point. This case should have never been brought. It was brought by a partisan prosecutor. If Donald Trump weren't Donald Trump and he weren't running for president, this case would never have been charged with felonies this way. It's complete and total sham. It's a kangaroo court. Of course he's not going to be punished for it, because the only reason they ever did it was so they could try to call him a convicted felon during the election, which they of course did. And then the American people soundly rejected this naked partisan politics. If you're watching New York City news right now, you got people being burned on the subway, folks running around with all kinds of violence in their past and not in jail, and the criminal justice system is being used on Donald Trump.
Now, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What do you think Donald Trump is going to do? I personally think Donald Trump is going to show up to the court case as far as like a Zoom call, and he's going to use it or flip it on the New York City judge. Donald Trump is really good at going into the lion's den and pretty much, I don't want to say getting persecuted because I'm not about to elevate him on a martyr status for a Christian, but like persecuted in the sense of he allows for himself to get yelled at and berated, and then he flips it, and it really works in his favor how Republicans and conservatives are like, hold on, you're not being fair here. You're only going after Donald Trump because it's Donald Trump. I think he's really good at that, and I do think Donald Trump should show up to the court case and should expose how ridiculous this is. Now, this next point is absolutely hilarious from Scott Jennings. This is a completely different topic.
The Trump tax cuts, obviously Democrats are going to fight that tooth and nail. It's not just something that exploded the debt. It's also something that is really symbolic for Democrats of giving all the benefits to extremely wealthy people while the rest of us suffer or don't get anything.
Jessica, if I may, just one community note for the record.
Real quick, if you don't know what a community note is and why this is so funny, that is the fact-checking system on the platform X, which, by the way, is unbiased. It will go after everyone. It even goes after Elon Musk, and if you try to change the fact check, you will get called out again for changing the fact check, and people will make fun of you and call you out for being a liar. That is why it is hilarious that Scott Jennings went on national television and said, one point of contention, I have a community note for you.
Trump tax cuts cut taxes for virtually everyone who pays taxes. It wasn't just a tax cut for wealthy. Everyone who pays taxes got a tax cut. Extending these tax cuts would be tax cuts for everyone who pays taxes. And so this was like one of the biggest lies told about the bill when it passed in the first place. But there is verified, absolute verified reporting from numerous reputable news sources that virtually everyone who pays taxes got a tax cut. That's what Republicans stand for.
Go ahead, Christy. Did you want to jump in
The
there?
wealthy got by far the biggest share of that, Scott, as you know.
No, everybody who pays taxes got a tax cut.
Now, I get updates 24/7 on everything that's happening on every single news channel, and I have a little nugget for you if you are still watching this video. All of a sudden, while I was filming and editing this video, Chuck Schumer just said one of the wildest things I have ever heard someone say as far as the election results for 2024. Democrats still cannot get over what has happened and still goes after the regular working man and woman in this country. Enjoy this clip. Again, this literally just happened as I was making this video.
So we did a lot of good things, but all too often, Kristen, we talked about the mechanics of the legislation and the details of the legislation, and we really didn't show the kind of empathy and concern to average, or show enough of it to average working families who didn't realize how much we had done and how much we care for them.
I have always stated on this channel, I don't know why there is an obsession to try and lower the status of the average working American. There is always that tonality of, well, they didn't understand it or they didn't get it. I really think that the older Democrats don't realize that we have all of the knowledge to our fingertips. You can go to ChatGPT, you can go to Google, you can learn about things extremely fast. A lot of people who watch my channel or other YouTube channels or TikToks, they are learning in real time the hypocrisy or the ridiculous things that are being said against them, and people are smart enough to do their research. Again, that is why I think for a while now, Democrats will be losing more and more voters, or will never get people to switch over to the Democratic side because there is this constant attitude or elitist attitude towards the working man who is a conservative. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are a Republican or conservative, I do think this is going to be a very, very wild year. I think there's going to be a lot of new narratives. If Donald Trump accidentally sneezes on somebody, that is going to be the talking point. If Donald Trump says something bad, that is going to be the talking point. So get used to it. Get ready. We are here to cover everything. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy your day, your night, wherever you are. God bless, and we'll see you later.